We don't encourage critical thinking, especially not in this industry. That's bad for business. The marketing tactics, the promotion of this is hopeful that people are reactive, not responsive. People are responsive. They think, they critically think, they ponder, they wonder about the things they see and what they're looking at. But that's bad for business. That's bad money. You can't leverage people's insecurities, their vulnerabilities, their anxieties, their need to belong, their loneliness. You can't leverage those things if you encourage people to critically think about the things they're watching and what they're viewing. A lot of the things in our industry, what they use is pleasure and arousal. It's big business in this industry, huge. Loneliness, feeling like you need to belong to something. Your ignorance. Hey, you don't know something about this. You don't know these things. Here's the science, here's the data on this. Oh my goodness, I don't know these things. This is why this is why this thing is so complicated, because I'm not smart enough. I'm not sexy enough. I'm not cool enough to belong to these groups. You understand that's a big reason why you don't want people to critically think about things, because that holds up them swiping their credit card. That prevents them from swiping their credit card. You can lean on these things, these insecurities that people have. You can get a lot of money from people. That's why it's so important that you do your thinking. That's why I've been a big proponent of this and the things I'm talking about. I haven't been trying to sell you anything, but anything, what you can do on your own and what you can do with your thinking. And a lot of that comes from just sitting and just letting your brain do its job. Let it organize your thoughts. We are so arrogant in thinking that we have this free will and free choice, and that everything that you do, you are in full control of. And you're not. You're in control of, or you're responsible for, or you take on the full brunt, 100% of the consequences of your choices. But as far as like why you do what you do, a lot of that is up here. A lot of that is here. And if you haven't spent time with working on this, just like working out, just like lifting, like exercising, if you haven't given this thing a chance to do its job, if you haven't asked it to critically think about things, if you don't spend time in thought, and I don't mean in meditation, which is super beneficial, but I just mean sit time in thought and let this thing organize and let it put things together and make sense of things. What it allows you to do physically, just like lifting. All of a sudden you can lift this much weight. 2 months ago you couldn't. All of a sudden you can run faster. All of a sudden you're more conditioned. Same thing goes for your thinking. All of a sudden you can bear the load of deeper thoughts. You can bear the weight of more critical thinking of things that you're seeing, and just not being moved by your emotions. You're not so reactive, you become more responsive. But you have to give this thing a chance. And you understand that there's a huge component of that, because why people don't do beneficial things for themselves. And we, being a very smart and conscious species that we give our credit to ourselves for, arrogantly, narcissistically we do, you're not that special. You're really not, because you're moved by your emotions like any other critter walking around. But you can be better at those things. You can be more masterful at those things. You can be more artful, more strategic at those things. If you give your brain a chance to think, to critically think. So you have to spend time in reading, understanding things. It's a big reason selfishly why I've done this. It's just like when you work out, like you can't get to this side, you can't get to this lift, this technique, unless you do these things first. So you have to let your thoughts have this thought, figure it out. Okay, I get to the next thought. And as you get to these thoughts and you start to stack them all together, give you a chance to think about it, what you will be surprised what you are now physically able to do, what you allow yourself to physically able to do, your motivation, your willingness to do things, becomes so much more vast, becomes a lot more advanced than what you're able to take on. And when you do those things, this becomes nothing. It becomes so much easier. So much of why people don't work out and take care of themselves, or why people don't do training if they're athletes and they don't do it in a beneficial way and the way they could do it right now, is because of how they think and how they approach about it, because they just haven't given this thing a chance to do its job. Too much distraction, too involved, too much dopamine, too much euphoria, not enough time sitting unentertained, not enough time of just sitting, just being there, being still. Because how would you explain a species who has endless resources, endless information, endless ways to access to it, not everybody, but a good amount of all these things, and yet we choose unhealthier paths? We have witnessed our family members, people we love, we watch their behavior, we watch it, we view it. We see, oh, if I do those same things, and you're a conscious species, like if I do those same things, I'm going to be met with the same fate, financially, physically, emotionally, pain, surgeries, physical therapy, all these things. And yet you still do it. Why would you do that? You've watched it. You see what happens. The steps are sitting in front of you. If you're an athlete, you could be a monster, an absolute monster in your craft, in your profession. And all you need is a mirror and giving a damn. You don't need any of this stuff. You don't. Just throughout history, throughout training right now, not even a long time, like right now, there are athletes, there are competitors who don't have a state-of-the-art facility. And you don't want to be on the other side of them when it comes to competition. They don't get bored. They do the same thing every day, every time. And they get sharper, they get tighter, they get more precise, the precision gets better. And they don't need anything. But if you're thinking, if you don't allow your thoughts to organize and put yourself together, you think you need more. You think you need to be more entertained. You're watching other people. Look at what they're doing. That's what I need to do. And you figure out, if you let your thinking, give yourself a chance in thought, you realize how little you need to do great things, to do wonderful, inspiring things, and you can do it. This thing will organize. A month or two, months from now, all of a sudden, how you thought, how you approach things becomes a lot better. And it's not anything special. A lot of it is just sitting here, and stop being influenced by things you keep thinking, because your brain doesn't get a chance. Do I need to worry about this? Do I need to worry about that? Is that important? Is that important? I don't know. You need to give it a chance to just sit down and shut up. And what you'll be able to do physically, you will be amazed at now the lifting that you can do with your thinking, and things come in. Now your motivation to take care of yourself, where that stands out. And you find out that if you allow yourself to critically think, all the stuff that people keep telling you that you need, all these influencers who need your attention, they need your money, they need your clicks, they need your view, you find out you don't need to do that anymore. You've had the answers all along. They sit there inside of you. Your motivation is not something on a screen. It's something here. But you have to practice. You have to practice in your thinking. Read different things. Involve certain things. Things you didn't think were true. Things that now you have to practice. You challenge your thinking, what you thought was to be. Give it a chance. Try it out. Sit there in thought, man, and toil with things, and let it bug you, and let it bother you, but organize it. You do these things, you find out how little you need to do great things.